the word makeup, what comes to mind? For some of us, we may see glamour, makeup, or even self-expression. And for others, they may see vanity, unnecessary, and very superficial. But what if those beliefs are actually a part of the bigger problem? See, we've been taught that makeup is something that's purely aesthetic, mostly for women, mostly for appearances. And when we dismiss it in that way, we miss out on what makeup is actually doing in people's lives. Because we rarely talk about how makeup is used for women, for men, and young people, to help cover deeper wounds, to help tell untold stories, and for myself to simply survive. For a man, he might use makeup as concealer to soften acne scars right before a big interview. Not out of vanity, but out of the fear of being judged before he's even heard. Or a young person, they may use a bold eyeliner or a bold color, not to seek attention, but to simply communicate their identity before they have the language to explain it. And for others, they may use foundation, a highlight, or a contour, not to impress anyone, but to feel whole again after being broken. Because makeup isn't what we put on, it's what we rebuild together. For myself, I use makeup to correct and conceal my black eyes. I use a red lipstick to cover my busted lip. And I use foundation to cover the bruises on my body because I am a domestic violence survivor. Makeup helped me reclaim control when my life was out of control. It helped me reconnect with my identity when trauma tried to strip it away. And I want you to understand something here. Makeup is more than a product when it's used with pure intentions and safe and supportive environments. And in those spaces, we weren't changing the appearances, but it restores the soul. It creates an atmosphere for when people who don't look different, but they feel different. And this is why my idea is worth spreading. It's very simple, often misunderstood. Makeup is more than cosmetics. It is a power tool to help bridge trauma into healing, isolation into connection. And when people are allowed to be themselves without any fear of judgment, that's when their shift begins. Because confidence is rebuilt, connection is restored, and healing can begin. Because makeup isn't what we put on, it's what we rebuild together. Now, when I survived my abusive relationship, I learned how isolating trauma can be. I quickly learned how silence can replace confidence. And it's easy to disappear when you have to show up for everyone every single day. And in that moment, I experienced a shift. People began to ask me, how did you survive that? What shade is that? Can you show me how to do that? And in that moment, I realized I was no longer surviving. I was healing. Because when people gather around makeup, something deeper unfolds. We begin to talk. We begin to laugh. We begin to tell the truth. I have seen people sit down for a makeup session and stand up feeling lighter, not because of a lash or a lipstick, because for the very first time, someone listened to them. And in that moment, makeup became our entryway and healing became the outcome. Because we weren't just blending eyeshadows with brushes and colors, we were blending stories. Layers of lived experiences like shades on a palette, we were blending pain. Mixing in all of our hurt into something more bearable and adding hope back into light, like how a highlight transforms a face. Because in that moment, makeup isn't shallow. Isolation is what hurt us. Because when people gather around and create safe, affirming spaces, something as simple as a lipstick, a foundation, or a concealer could be used to bridge them back to themselves. Because trauma whispers to us, you're damaged. You're not enough. You're alone. But the community tells us, I hear you, I believe you, and I see you. And in that moment, makeup is no longer looked as a product, it is a permission slip. Permission to show up. Permission to be seen. Permission to be soft again after being strong for so long. Because when people are in safe and affirming environments, and when people wear makeup, it can be, when people wear makeup, something unfolds for them. So, makeup isn't what we put on, it's what we rebuild together. So today I want to leave you with a different way of seeing makeup. It's not vanity, it's not trivial, but it is a language that we use when we don't have the words to express it. Because when people can create a space, that's when their healing begins. It could be in a salon, it could be at home, it could be in a community center. When people are allowed to be themselves without any fear of judgment, that's when their shift begins. So, today I want to leave you with a different way of seeing makeup. Makeup didn't save me. The community did. Makeup was my doorway. And before I leave this stage, I want to leave you with a simple but powerful thought. Makeup isn't what we put on, it's what we rebuild together. Thank you.